Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. My name is Herr Ziegler. I'm supposed to be your teacher at the Abendakademie or anywhere else on this planet. Well, I am Oberstudienrat in Ruhestand. This is my title, if you like. Well, what it means is I have a master in French and have a master in English. I'm slightly connected with the reality, with theory, but as well with practice. I have been around the world. I've been on 4 continents, so I have a bit of an insight into what's going on. I have been to the United States, there in 24 states. No theory, no practice. Have been around, or most of my acquaintance for so many years have been Black Americans. So I have a little bit of insight into theory and in practice. Here is my theory, papers over papers, but some of what counts in life is in my mind. This is practice and theory. Let me just start with a few things. First of all, if you feel he's dressed spiffy, I like it. It's not just for show business today. And the other aspect is, if you want to be a teacher, a professor, something like that in the United States, you need to be up-dressed. Coming about like in robber's disguise, no way. This is important as well as your qualification, your mental, intellectual qualification, because the US is show business. Just have a look at the president over the last 25 years. Show business, that's what it is. There has been a cowboy as a president, there has been a gangster. I don't want to continue. But in order to start it all, when we talk about the United States of America, most people equate the United States with America, which is bloody nonsense. The United States is a state consisting, a federal state, just like the Bundesrepublik Deutschland, consisting of 50 states. And this is part of a continent. And the continent is called America. Wow. Let's make America great is nonsense per se, because the continent consists of 3 elements. America is a triple continent. North America, South America, and guess what is in the middle? Central America. Good. Yes. And America is a state, keep it in mind. Brazil is also in America. Ecuador is also in America. Canada also, etc. The capital of that state, called the United States, is Washington, D.C. Nobody in the state talks about Washington, because this is a state in the Northwest. Everybody talks about D.C., which means the capital. All right, this is this. I wrote here on the board 3 words. Why did I? Because I like to scratch them out, to wipe them out. Because these are words you never, ever, 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 ever in your life should use them, unless it's really necessary. This is the first. This is for mathematics. No connection to the rest of the thought. This is another one. Then, and then, and then, and then. Scratch it out. Delete it. All right? Never, ever again. There are millions, not quite, but a couple of 20, 30 words which really mean what you want to say. Conjunctions. Conjunctions. Leave it. I've got another one. Provision is everything. All right? But we're going to talk about this later on more precisely. And this one is another no-no. Nobody, if you argue in written or is interested in what you think. Have you ever listened to somebody in Parliament, German Parliament? Have you ever heard this? Ich mein, ich glaub, ich denk, Give the best. Say what you mean. And say with all the emphasis, this is the truth. This, nobody's interested in what you think. In other words, since we are in the age of Corona today, 2 words are most important today. The one is negative, wow. The other one is positive, good night. I've just been to a clinic, to a hospital for checking out if I have the coronavirus or not, and I have nothing. In other words, on the 2nd day of this stay at the hospital, they say, Mr. Ziegler, you're negative. Woo! Glory, hallelujah. That means negative, not existent. And the word positive means it is there, it exists. If you have a negative bank account, good night, bankruptcy. If you have something on your bank account, it's positive. And in order to give alternatives to these two horror words, which are basically wrong, negative means not existent. It was a negative weekend. No, it was a bad weekend. And he's so positive, poor creature, because he's sick. He either has HIV, corona, or something else. In order to give alternatives, there are so many adjectives which you should use. This is a substitute for this one. Guess what is that? Keep in mind, this means existent, not existent. And here is a couple of nice adjectives which you could use in your writing, in your spelling, and basically here in this garage. Leave this out, scratch it out, compost it, and rather think of these. And there are dozens of other adjectives. Why I'm saying this? Adjectives qualify the noun, das Substantiv, das Hauptwort, qualify it precisely. And insofar, you could also delete the next very popular word, this one, or in football language, very, very. If you have a precise adjective, you don't need that. This is one of the things I'm going to deal with. Part of this is, in terms of language practice, is conjunctions, Konjunktionen. These are the elements which connect the main clause with the subclause, Hauptsatz und Nebensatz, and connect the thoughts. For instance, in addition to, furthermore, also, besides, yet, however, and dozens of other words which give the complete meaning and the complete context of what you are dealing with. And as I said, be precise with whatever you try to express. If you are precise here, you'll be precise here. If you are precise here, that machine will also start spinning around. So be as accurate as possible. If you whisper in your girlfriend's ears, please tell her exactly why you like her, what it is that is attracting to you. Not just, darling, I love you, 25 times a day. After a week, you need a new kind of vocabulary. Be precise. This enriches people. Just a few adjectives which you could use is, just a few nice words, but I'm not writing them on board. A pattern, to harass, to abuse, subtle, atrocities. These are words, not only adjectives, which mean precisely what you mean. And precision is what makes man, a human being, I mean. One of the themes we're going to deal with is identity in contrast to belonging. Identity circles around myself, who am I? While belonging is the opposite insofar I'm a member of a group. This is belonging. Identity, myself. Belonging, me, this identity within a group. This is what we're going to deal with. And needless to say, this is the main or one of the subjects, one of the themes in crooked letters. Just to give you a couple of insights, what kind of themes are dealt with crooked letters. I had a student say once before, we talked about 3 themes. I found out 15 themes. Just to give you a bit of an insight. One of the themes is friendship. This again can be divided in friendship with Larry, by Larry, and friendship with Silas, by Silas. Another theme is loneliness, many proofs. Another, in all kinds of people, loneliness. Another one is strong versus weak. And on top of that, adultery, Ehebruch, and the consequences is another theme. And so many others. Violence. Yes, violence is well known to everybody, but here it is dealt with violence as a legacy of the US American history. More people were killed privately than in all American wars together by soldiers. So violence is a central theme of the United States culture. So we could go on with all this, but I won't. Another major part here of themes is belonging and, as we said, identity. Belonging can be seen with Larry. Where does he belong? A major part and a major aspect of the novel. And with Larry as well as with Silas. Identity as well split up into Silas, identity with Larry. Just to give it a bit of a slice of life reality, one of the problems here in this novel is the father-son relationship. Just to give you a bit of an insight, shame we haven't got music here, but there was a song in soul, funk, soul, by Marvin Gaye and the Four Tops, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. You might have heard it, you will recognize it if you hear it. This just detailed, reflects what horror relationship between a father and a son can exist in mainly black America. Mainly black America. Names also have a high importance in Crooked Letter. Whenever you read a novel in your future or anything else, kind of a piece of literature, dig the names. The names always have a major function. Just to give you one example, Wallace Stringfellow, the ultimate essence of being wicked, this guy. Edgar Wallace was a detective novel writer in England in the 1950s and 60s. Wallace. Stringfellow means he should be hung. And Strickkumpel, that means it's about time that he has been, that he should be lynched. Another one, Mr. and Mrs. Ott. If you pronounce it a bit more slobberily, you have the word odd, and odd means komisch, schräg. And the last one, the dog in this novel has a most thrilling name. This dog, which is a beast, has the name Johnny Wayne Gacy. Johnny Wayne Gacy existed in reality, and he was the record holder in capital punishment. He was sentenced 37 times capital punishment, Zuchthaus, in the United States. He is even part of the, record book, Guinness Book of Records. He is the world record holder in Todesstrafen. That's the name of the dog, etc., etc., etc. We are certainly dealing not just with what I preach, but also what you work. That is to say, you're going to be given a number of abilities and a number of chances of developing your writing skills. Using this, using that, using conjunctions. And one of the tasks might be remorses, gewisse Spisse, and how to get rid of them depicted in Silas. Another, also reaching out into the film you have seen about this racial conflict in Detroit City. Larry and Walt Kowalski have a problem with identity and belonging. Compare both characters handling this issue. This is part for your writing skills. We could continue, but I think that's about what I could give you as an introduction. One more thing is, one of my teaching principles is correcting. If the teacher keeps preaching, he could do this for years. Nothing would change in the student's mind. That's why some people would lifelong be talking about inviting, anweisen, which doesn't make any sense, and this and this and this will be a lifelong horror. And we're going to stop this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to eradicate it and drive it out, all this vocabulary, and try to teach you to find nicer, more precise expressions. Well, this is about my introduction. Welcome to my show. Hope I'm going to see you soon. A last word. This is not just for Abitur students, but for the rest of the world. If you are in business, in the BASF or anywhere else, you're welcome to do the same thing. Principally developing your English with different themes, with different aspects, and with different focuses. Thanks for listening and watching. Liebe Schüler, wenn ihr das gesehen habt und gehört habt, was ich jetzt angeboten habe, seid ihr herzlich willkommen, ebenso wie alle anderen, die aus dem Schüleralter draußen sind, die Englisch für Beruf brauchen, neue Freunde zu gewinnen oder andere Zwecke, sich hier anzumelden und einen der verschiedenen Kurse hier beizuwohnen. Und Sie können sich gerne anmelden unter Abendakademie-mannheim.de. Ich würde mich freuen und meine Kollegen auch, wenn wir uns wiedersehen würden.